Hello, this is Mo Ali and welcome to my SuperPost collection. Now you're probably wondering, what is a SuperPost? It's not a term you hear very often. Well, for me, a SuperPost is a Facebook post that generates at least $10,000 revenue. Now it took me a while to figure out how to do this, but in this short training, I'm going to share with you the exact steps that I use to create a SuperPost so that hopefully you can do so too. So before I begin, I just want to tell you what exactly you can get. So the first thing you'll see below this video is a link to download your SuperPost collection. Now this is a PDF that I've created, and in this I have my top 5 SuperPosts. So these are all my 5 highest generating Facebook posts so that you can basically get an idea and start to role model them. So just take a look below this video and you can download this PDF and you can see all of the posts that I've written. You can get an idea about the topics, the length, the styles, the titles, etc. This is essentially your swipe file worth about $50,000. Now the next thing you're going to see is we're going to actually go now into the actual Facebook post that I'm talking about. So as you can see, this Facebook post was written on August the 5th and today is August the 10th. So you can see it's been live for about 5 days now. So what I'm firstly going to do is share with you the impact that a Facebook post can have. So you can see immediately that this post has already had 1 share, it's had about 68 likes, and it's had about 22 comments. But most importantly, if you see this part here, the call to action, I write, if you'd like me to send you a collection of my super posts so you can read and role model them, let me know. As you can see here, we've got about 36 people who've raised their hands. So you can see that from this, if we add 22 to 36 to 68, that's the amount of interaction we've had. It's over 100 connections just from this one post. So what would your business look like if you had about 100 leads come in just overnight? That's the power of a Facebook super post, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this post that I wrote here, this super post, I'm going to break down the 5 key components of it. So as you can see here, in a Facebook super post, there's 5 key areas you need to have. The first thing is the stop them in the tracks title. Now you're probably wondering, what is the stop them in the tracks title? Well, it's exactly what I'm saying. Now you've got to realize that your ideal prospects are not on Facebook to read information and to buy from you. They're there to look at cat videos, to find out how their friends are doing, to look at birthdays, and possibly look at messages they may have received. So the last thing they've got in their mind is to spend the next 10, 15, 20 minutes reading one of your super posts. But if you can make your title strong enough, if you can literally stop them in their tracks with that title, they'll make that time. And I found over and over again that just by having a really strong title, I've got people who message me within 15, 20 minutes of reading that post, and straight away I'm into sales conversations. Now the second stage of the Facebook post is to set the stage with social proof. Now what does this mean? Well, you have to imagine that your prospect may never have heard of you. And why are they going to give up 15, 20 minutes of their time to read what you're going to say if they've never heard of you? The answer is very simple. You've got to set the stage with social proof. You've got to show them immediately that you're worth taking that time out for. You're worth reading. You're worth listening to. And the way you do that is with social proof. And what I mean by that is you've got to imagine that you're on trial and your audience is basically giving you 2 or 3 minutes to prove to them that you're worthwhile. And how do you do that? You give them evidence, you give them proof. And what I'll do is I'll show you in a few minutes how exactly I do that in a second. The third phase is very important because this is the part where you really make the money. This is the part where you differentiate yourself, where you show yourself as the authority. And this is where you wow them with your information. So what exactly do I mean by that? Well, the first thing you need to realize is that people aren't really looking for information because any piece of information is available on Google. What they're looking for is they're looking for structure. They're looking for authority. They're looking for the ability to condense information. They're looking for expert status. And the way that you present your information is how you prove this, how you position yourself as an authority. And the minute that you can show them, and wow them with your information, that's when they will want to hire you for results. The fourth part of this 5-step formula is the mindset knockout punch. Now you need to realize that your audience has many limiting beliefs. And what you want to do with the mindset knockout punch is to knock all of those beliefs out in one go. My name is Mohammed Ali, as you probably guessed, and so it's very appropriate that I talk about a mindset knockout punch, because after all, isn't that what my namesake used to do all the time? And that's exactly what you want to do in your Facebook SuperPost. You want to make sure that you knock out every single limiting belief, every single mindset limitation that your prospect might have, and that's how you get them to take action. And the last part is a call to action that leads to action. The sad truth is that most call to actions do the exact opposite. They lead to inaction. So what you need to do is you need to create a call to action that actually leads to action. Not so much a hard sell, not so much a hard push, but a gentle, I'll take you by the hand approach. Because you've got to understand that the first steps are usually the hardest for your prospects. And if you can show your prospects that these first steps are not as difficult as they think they are, and you're actually there to guide them along that way, that's how you'll get to take action. So now that I've talked to you about these 5 steps, what I want to do now is I want to show you how each of these has applied in the SuperPost. And I want to give you an idea about how long you should spend in the SuperPost talking about each one, and actually talk you through the psychology of that post itself. So as you can see, what I've done is I've actually color coordinated each section so you can get a rough overview. So you can see the Stop Them in the Tracks title is a very short 2 lines. That's all you need. The social proof is about half a page. The wow with information equals want you for results is much longer. It's a full page here and about a full page here, so it's about 2 pages. And you can see the mindset knockout punch is only 2 paragraphs, but very powerful paragraphs. And lastly, the call to action is only 3 or 4 lines. So you can get an idea of roughly how to gauge, how to structure, how much percentage of effort you should put into each section. So now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go through this post here, just like I did with my prospect and my client the other day, and show you exactly what the thought process is behind that. So you can see the Stop Them in the Title tracks, the evergreen lead system, how to create FB posts, webinars and emails that bring you in leads 8 months after you created it. Now, in order to come up with that title, the first thing I did is I looked at my prospects. What are the problems they're facing? And one of the biggest problems they had was creating Facebook posts that got 1 like or 1 comment. And because of that, they weren't really interested in the long term. So the limiting belief that I needed to tackle was that if you can create a Facebook post, you may not get immediate results, but over time that will all build up. It'll become an asset. It'll be like planting a seed, and you may get the rewards later on. Now, the one thing that I found is that that's actually incorrect, because what you can do is you can start getting results immediately, but I didn't really want to sell that just yet because that would be too much of a hurdle to overcome. So the first thing in the title is you want to look at a limiting belief they have and see how is it I can get their attention. How is it I can stop them scrolling down their newsfeed and spend a few minutes just looking at what I've written. Now, once I've got their attention, I wowed them with social proof. I set the stage with social proof. And what I did is I gave them four facts here. 4 facts I researched, historical facts, so that it's not wishy-washy, it's not made up, it's concrete evidence. And that's enough to prove to my prospects that I know what I'm talking about. That this isn't just theory, this is actually something I'm applying. Because the last thing that people want to read is theory. The first thing they want to read is actual facts, actual case studies. And what I want to do with this part here is to prove this is actually a case study. It's actually a real life example that they can then take and apply to their business. Now, once I'd actually got their attention and got them to trust me enough to spend some more time, to invest some more time to read the rest of the post, I then went into the information. Now, as you can see with the information, the first thing that you need to realize is that blocks of text, blocks of content is what scares people. People don't like to read long paragraphs. So you'll see each paragraph is very short, is very snappy. And also there's a lot of bullet points. So they can see, they can skim over, they can see which parts are going to gauge their interest. They can straight away see it's going to be a light read, an easy read. not a heavy read, because the last thing your audience wants is to read a heavy read. Okay, so you can see that I've structured 5 key points, and each one is very logical. Each one follows one by the next, so that everything makes sense. Everything follows a sequence. Each step I'm taking my reader further down the wormhole. Now, once I've wowed them with my information, and in that information, I've given them literally the best I can. I've not held back. I've not given parts. I've not said, if you want more, you've got to contact me. I've literally given them as much as I can, the best I can. Because my firm belief, and I believe that it's something that will really make a difference in you, is that the posts that I've given the most in have become super posts. The posts that I've tried to withhold information, tried to be strategic, tactical, are the ones that have often resulted in the least sales. So just give as much information as you can and just trust that you'll be rewarded accordingly. Now, the fourth step, once you've really wowed them with the information, once they're dazed, once they're amazed, once they're thinking, wow, this guy knows what they're talking about. Now, you've got to imagine, the next question that comes to their mind is, okay, it's great for this guy, but will it work for me? And this is where you really need to knock out their mindset. This is where you really need to knock out the concept that, will this work for me? This is where you need to prove to them that it will. This is where you need to prove to them that by taking action on what you've taught them is worth much more than what they're doing right now. It's worth taking that risk, and most importantly, by just following those steps, it will work. It's guaranteed. It's a fact. You've proved it with your social proof. You've proved it with the quality of your information. There's no doubts whatsoever this will work. And the last thing you need to do now that you've got them believing in you, and most importantly, believing in themselves, is to give them a gentle call to action. By this point, they're already convinced. They already want to take action. They just need a gentle nudge. They don't need a hard sell. A hard sell here will push them over. It will scare them away. What you want to do is take them by the hand, help them towards the next step. And obviously that next step is to connect with you. Because once they've connected with you, they've turned from a reader into a prospect. Then they'll turn from a prospect into a client. And ultimately, by generating clients from your super posts, that's how they become 10K plus posts. So I hope that through this information, you've got a lot of value about how to create your super post. And I hope that you've got the 5 key components and roughly how much time you should spend on that. And lastly, I just want to give you the proof of how effective this is. As I told you, I wrote this post on Friday. And the reason I wrote it was because I actually met with a friend, and my friend wanted to ask me, how is it you get so much clients from, how is it that you get so many clients from Facebook? Why is it that when I write a post, I get 1 or 2 likes, and when you write one, you get hundreds? And I said to him very simply, it's how you structure it. So we then went back to his apartment, we sat down, and I wrote a post. This post took me about 45 minutes to write. The reason it took so long is because I talked him through every single thought process I was going through. I was talking through the structure, why I was writing this there, why I wasn't writing this there. And I showed him really the formula of how to structure this post, just like I'm showing you. And today's Wednesday. He actually wrote that post yesterday, on Tuesday. And so far, he's already got 1 hot client from it. One person he's got a call with on Monday, and that person has basically said, I know I'm going to pay you money even before I even speak to you. Now it's just a question of formalizing the deal. He's also got a few other leads that he needs to chase up, and as well as that, he's also got 1 interview request. So you can see immediately, this was a guy who's writing posts, and he was maybe getting 1 or 2 likes, but now he's getting clients from his post. So I strongly believe that if you write a post the way that I've taught you here, it can very easily become a super post, and you can get at least 1 client from it. So I really want to make a challenge to you, and I want you to take this information and not just put it as something that you've thought about or something that you might watch later. I want you to take some time out now to write a super post, because now's the time. The ideas are fresh in your head, and this is the perfect opportunity. But I also want you to realize that once you've written super post, that's not enough, because what you also need to have is you need to have the right mindset. You need to have the right offer. You need to be able to offer the right solution. You need to have the right structure in your business. You need to have the right sales skills. And ultimately, that's what leads to the right client. Just a super post alone isn't going to be enough to get you those clients that you need. It's part of a process, part of a system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the opportunity now to book a call with me. And on that call, we can talk about how we can implement this system into your business. We can talk about your super post, and then what happens after the SuperPost. So if you'd like to book a call with me, just below this video, you'll also see a link to my calendar. And just feel free to go there, select a time that suits you, and we'll book a call. We'll have a half an hour chat, and we'll see how exactly we can take this forward for you. So overall now, I hope that I've inspired you enough to write a SuperPost. I hope that I've given you enough value, enough information, enough belief in yourself, enough belief in the system that the SuperPost will work for you, because it's worked for me over the last 2 years in my business. It's worked for my clients. It's worked for so many people that I've worked with. And I strongly believe it'll work for you. So good luck with your SuperPost. I hope I've given you value. I hope I continue to give you value. And I hope to speak to you soon. Thank you very much and good evening.